Welcome, classic camera fans. Today I want to talk to you about a lens I recently got. I'm going to do a little overview of that lens. It's a Nikkor or Nikon 55mm f3.5 macro lens. I got it some days ago because I wanted to do some macro with my SLRs and I didn't have a lens for that. This lens was, as some people say, one of the sharpest lenses made by Nikon, and that proves to be true because the shots I've taken are pretty darn sharp. Doing a review with my son. He's watching his cartoon, so there's some ambient noises. I got this lens for $39, free shipping from eBay seller. Extremely good deal, I think. It's a later model. The earlier models, they had metal focusing ring. This one has rubber focusing ring. You can see it's diamond pattern. It means it's a little bit newer. The older models had what was called compensating diaphragm, which means that when you focus in on an object and you're doing close-up photography, the diaphragm, the aperture inside, would actually open up a bit to compensate for the light fall off. What's up, Eric? You watching the cartoons? Yes? Okay. And the diaphragm will open up to compensate for the light fall off. With this lens, it's not the case. You have to compensate as you focus in really close. What I found is that with black and white film, it's not as crucial as with color, as with slide film. But I don't shoot slide film, so we don't have to worry about it. What I've noticed is that when you focus in all the way, which is 1 to 2 reproduction. Come here, Eric. You're gonna help me. No? Okay. 1 to 2 reproduction, you have to compensate one stop. So let's say if you're shooting at f11, 1/500 of a second, that's your meter reading for your object. You actually have to shoot at 1/250th of a second to compensate one stop. Now, this lens will only allow you to go down to 1 to 2 reproduction. Means that, let's say you're photographing a coin. The coin will be actually half the size on the sensor, on the film, than what it is in real life. There is a ring for it, extension ring that I've purchased, and it's on its way, and that will allow me to get a 1-to-1 reproduction, which means the object will be life size on a piece of film. There's 2 scales for this lens. One scale here goes from infinity to about 0.4 feet, 0.4, and the other part of the scale goes from 35mm up 0.4 meter rather than feet. Then from 35mm all the way to 24.1, I'm sorry, centimeters, so 24.1 centimeter, and that is 1 to 2, and it's marked here 2. That is marked here. My camera is, hopefully you can see it. Means that reproduction is 1 to 2. Then on the side of the lens you have another scale. Goes from 1 to 2 to 1 to 1, and that is used with a ring. So let's say you buy an extension ring. It's called Nikon M2 ring. You put it on, immediately your lens becomes 1 to 2, and you have to compensate one stop right away. And then when you focus in really close, it's 1 to 1. You have to compensate 2 stops. So let's say you're shooting at a 1/500, you have to actually shoot at 125th of a second to get correct exposure. It is really sharp lens, as the results have proven, and I'll be posting these results at the end of the video. The lens is pre-AI, pre-auto indexing lens or aperture indexing lens, so it will not work on the current digital SLRs unless it's AI modified. I don't know if it's worth it or not, but I'm using it on my film Nikon F, and I'll be using it on my Nikkor Mat FTN and Nikkor Mat EL. When you're using Nikon without them, or a camera without the light meter, like I said, you have to compensate for the light fall. What's up? Come here, Eric. We're gonna do a review. No? He doesn't want to do a review. When you're using through the lens metering, you don't have to compensate for the light fall off, because the camera or the meter will compensate automatically, since it will read the light coming into the lens and hitting the light meter inside the camera. But you have to, you cannot be using any external light meter. It has to be built-in, like FTN cameras, Nikon FTN have. Then you don't have to worry about compensating. If you're using camera like me, I'm using Nikon F without the light meter, you have to compensate. You have to understand that once you get to the zone of about 35 millimeter or 35 centimeter on your scale, you have to start compensating. With black and white film, I don't worry about it until I actually reach 24.1 centimeter, which is 1:2 reproduction. Then I compensate one stop. Come here, Eric. Come here, buddy. You're gonna do a review. So Eric's gonna help me do a review, right, Eric? What do you do? You hit the button. Here. Good job, Eric. Good job. Okay, we're gonna do it again. Hit it again. Good job. Oh, you gotta cock the shutter. Here. Okay, hit it again. Good job. Okay. Alright, let me finish the review or overview. So you have to compensate one stop. When you put a ring on, you have to compensate 2 stops, because you're already 1:1 reproduction. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments, feel free to post them, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. Don't ask me about the t-shirts. I could make one for the right price. Come here, Eric, buddy. One more time. You gotta do one more time. Come on, come over here. Come over here. Okay. Gotta cut the shutter. Put it to your eye. Put it to your eye. Press the button. Good job, Eric. Eric, good job. Hey, buddy, good job. Eric's 18 months and he's already interested in my cameras. I think he wants to use them for purposes such as driving nails into wood planks or things like that. You have to cut the shutter, Eric. Cut the shutter. So anyways, I'll be posting the video in a few minutes, and I'll be posting pictures at the end so you can see the results I got from this lens. The pictures aren't great because they were just taken around the house. Whatever I had laying around, tweezers, Jack Daniel bottle, you know, common things you find around the house. So if you have any question, Eric, don't go put your fingers in it, buddy. You see, this lens is really good for when you have children, because it's got the front elements is recede all the way in there. So it's got natural shade, plus it prevents the little fingers from touching the front elements, so you don't have to worry about any fingerprints on the front element. Okay guys, and until next time, keep shooting film.